Hello everyone and welcome to the first race in the Bleed 2 Story New Game Normal Beginner Tournament. This is a tournament we are organizing together with SpeedGaming, where we are gonna highlight some newer runners in the Bleed 2 series and encourage newer runners to start dipping their toes into the game and start to compete for better times. So we are gonna see our first race here between Allianna and Zombie, which is gonna be a best of 3. And the category is gonna be New Game Normal. And in New Game Normal, basically, we are playing the game on the normal difficult setting, and we're playing with the new game rule set, which means that the runners are gonna have access to the katana and the gun and katana combination of weapons, and they will only have access to the standard dashing in the game, which creates a quite interesting run. It seems like we're gonna see some differences in control schemes for the runners too, but we're gonna talk a little bit more about that when we start the run. So if the runs are ready, we are ready to go as soon as possible. And Zombie has started. And Allianna is starting. We are entering the first course of the game. First part is gonna be the runners trying to get through a little beginning section that doesn't have too much fun going on. Then they are going to the first real platforming section of the game. This is probably among the toughest platforming section of the run. Stage 1 is really rough on the platforming, and the runners are gonna have to do quite a bit of platforming to get from point A to point B to get to the first bosses of the run. Here is technically speaking the first boss of the run, but I wouldn't call it a real boss. It's basically a tutorial to see that the runners or the player knows the reset. And next fight is gonna be a similar fight, and it seems like Allianna is getting ahead here. It's very tight between two runners though. The runs are really close to one another, and Allianna is using the slow motion, and so is Zombie. Both the runners handling that boss phenomenally well. And now they're coming to the first big boss of the run. And that is the blast jumper. This boss is relatively easy, but there is some random elements to this boss, and none of the runners are getting the good randomness here. Oh goddess me, that is really rough on both runners. This boss has several patterns, and each of the patterns have different... This is a very even race so far, by the way, and the runners are getting really fair RNG. Both of them are getting really similar RNG on that fight. It's hard to tell what's happening here because... Yeah, there we are. Zombie stream is lagging a little, so we're gonna look at Allianna here. It's looking like the runs are really neck to neck though here, which is amazing. So here comes the final boss of the first course, and that is the Mirror Core. The Mirror Core is a very interesting boss. This guy shoots a lot of lanes of bullets that you can reflect. As the reflect rules in this game are, you can reflect anything that's purple, and you can't reflect stuff that's yellow. So what you're hoping for in this game is that the boss delivers a lot of yellows. Or purples, I mean. It looks like Zombie is getting out of stage 1 a little ahead of Allianna here. But it's still a really close race, and it's like anyone's race so far. Zombie's entering stage 2, which is one of the most satisfying movement parts of the run. This course is highlighting a lot of fun movement tricks. It has some very lovely bosses as well. First boss of this course coming up here, the Kitty Shopper. A really lovely boss. really, really interesting boss fight that shoots out a lot of interesting bullets. Not least the rockets. The rockets are... It's kind of up to the runner if they want to reflect that, if they want to get reflecting those or not, because they are... The small rockets are a little rough to reflect sometimes. The runners might opt to not reflect those, but it seems like the runners are going for it. And it seems like Zombie is keeping up the lead here out of the kitty chopper, but it's still a really tight run between the two runners. Zombie's health situation is not looking too nice though, which can be rough coming up into the semi-core. Ooh. That was thankfully a relatively quick death, but a death nonetheless, and that might be enough for Allianna to take the lead. That might be enough for Allianna to steal back the lead and get into the driving seat here. Zombie is pausing the game. Yeah, Allianna is definitely in the driver's seat right now. But anything can still happen. Anything can still happen this run. Zombie's struggling a little bit to get to the Valentine Fight. So this Valentine Fight is a little interesting. This fight is pretty much your goal is to get Valentine's skill to be destroyed, and to do that you have to pass different boss mechanics and make sure that rival's car doesn't get hit by the boss. It is quite expensive to do minor mistakes in this part of the run, so this is a really scary part, where minor mistakes can be very expensive. Let's see how the runners are gonna handle it. Allianna is done with 2 of 3, and Zombie is done with 1 of 3, and far so good. Zombie getting the rough pattern and handles it wonderfully. Handling those purple cars wonderfully. Allianna goes out without getting a single failing on that part, and so does Zombie. Both of the runners are handling this fight phenomenally and doesn't lose any time to it. Allianna's still in the driver's seat though, but anything can still happen. It's a very slight lead. A lead nonetheless. Now the routes are coming into the chase, which is the first course that oftentimes causes problems. The first boss here is gonna pop up in a bit after this auto-scroller section. This course has a lot of auto-scroller sections. There is actually very little platforming going on in this course. There is some platforming action going on a little bit later in this course with a boss fight, but there is, generally speaking, very much auto-scrollers here and boss fights. Beautiful. I should mention that Red is probably one of the more fun fights to both run and watch other people run, because there is a lot going on there. You can reflect the bullets and a lot of interesting stuff can happen here. Zombie is having a little problem in the health department again. Taking a lot of hits from that red sprite. That can be a problem going into the Ninja fight. That is gonna come up right here. Here comes the Ninja fight. For Allianna. Allianna is handling the first part of the fight wonderfully so far. Perfect. Textbook example of how to do the first fight. And Zombie's also doing really well on that part. Allianna is going for the katana strategy on the Ninja fight. Oh god, I did not think we would see this in the match, in the first match of the tournament. That is a really, really advanced strategy. That has been started to be used about a couple of years ago. It's by this game's measures a relatively new strategy that people start to use. And it's not a strategy I was betting on any runner getting to use in this tournament. It's a very high risk strategy because it makes some attacks really difficult to dodge, and it's really easy to miss the window you have to stand in. Allianna is really getting ahead here, in a lot thanks to the strategy. A lot thanks to the katana strategy. It saves so much time to do the strategy. It's very worth to go for it if you know to do it, but it's a very risky strat. And as I said, it's not something I was expecting we would see in the first round of this tournament. Allianna is on Rex Rocket now. A little low on health though, which is a little bit scary. Can Allianna pull this off and capitalize on the lead? Ooh, super scary to watch here. And she did! There we go, lovely display. Zombie is also on this boss fight with very little health as well, but it's doing wonderfully. There we go, both the runners did make it through that boss fight with low health. That is quite remarkable. Quite remarkable gameplay for both the runners here. Allianna's still in the lead though, but anything can happen. Allianna is going for the cleanup strat at Shaft Spammer, which is another strategy that is a little on the rougher end. Let's see what Zombie does on this boss fight as well. Zombie's going for the gun strategy, which there's no shame in doing. It's really safe to do so. And it's going pretty well, getting some good patterns here. Ooh, that was a clean opening there for the shoot at the boss. And Zombie is constantly moving to the right here. There is a reason for that. That's because they are gonna be able to leave the boss course as quickly as possible. Both rounds are now in the tunnel. Allianna is leaving the tunnel while Zombie is just starting it. Allianna's going into the boss gauntlet as Zombie is about to leave the tunnel. I would say Zombie is about a guppy fight behind at this point. But there is still it's still anyone's game here. Any really good fight by any of the runners can really turn the tide towards the end of the run. And here comes Gibbons too. This boss fight is quite interesting because there are two bosses to shoot at. And they have some interesting cycles going on, and Zombie is handling Guppy quite well here. Allianna is mid-health here and doesn't seem to intend to take an intentional death after this fight. So we'll see what happens at the white fight. The white fight is probably gonna be... Wait, is she aiming to do an intentional death before the white fight? It seems so. That means we might actually see some scary white strats going on here. And yes, indeed, he's aiming at spinning around with the bots here. That is one of the rougher strats to pull off in this entire game as far as boss fights are concerned. It's a very, very interesting strat which I did not think we would see in this race. Zombie keeps on going with the safer, easier strats here. Uses some slow motion to get in some damage on the boss, despite having to wait for the boss to spin around. This is one of the more interesting fights to watch and commentate on, by the way, because it is a fight where there are several solutions. And it seems like Zombie is actually gaining quite some time here because of playing a little safer. Seems like safety really, really helps out Zombie in this fight, on the white fights. Sometimes picking the safer path is beneficial compared to picking the riskier path. Allianna's leaving the course, but Zombie is not that far behind anymore. Zombie is catching up after that white fight. As I said, sometimes picking the safe route is very, very beneficial in these races, and that's something you have to keep in mind. When you're playing a race, you have one attempt to get a run going. You cannot reset if something goes badly. So more often than not, if you're unsure about a strategy, it might be beneficial to not do it, because it can punish you heavily if you are messing it up. The runners are right neck to neck here going into the segment slider. And should be mentioned that it seems like Allianna is playing on controller while Zombie is playing with mouse keyboard. It should be mentioned that this boss in particular is relatively rough with controller because you have to both aim and move at the same time and your position is changing when you are moving, which means you have to redirect controller, while when you are playing with mouse keyboard you really don't have to think too much about that, which makes this fight significantly easier on mouse keyboard because of the aiming alone. Both the runners are keeping up the pace with one another out of the segment slider. Both the runners are also pretty equal on health, so this is really, really anyone's run still. Allianna getting the walls there. And Zombie entering boss fight 2. Not getting as lucky of a pattern as Allianna was getting at the start here, but there is still time to catch up. Allianna's going into the second phase of this boss fight now with a really, really good situation. And there we go, the walls. That is exactly what Zombie wants to see there. This part of the run is very, very scary because if you fail anything here, it's kind of the same thing as with Valentine, who's on the second course. If you fail anything here, it's gonna be really, really expensive because what you need to do here is to clean up the boss so you can start to do damage on it. And to do that, you need to succeed with the mechanics. If you fail a cycle here, you can lose a lot of time. Allianna is struggling a little on this boss fight, lost a lot of health. It's gonna be interesting if Allianna is daring to go into the bubble stage without... Oh no! Zombie failed! Mechanic! They missed it! And Allianna goes for a safety death, of course, I want to say, but that's not certain. Sometimes runners can be really, really risky on that part. It has happened as runners are feeling really, really brave going into the bubble section of the course, and it oftentimes punishes itself. And Zombie is picking the braver option here, trying to go for the bubbles with 2 health. That is a very high risk move. Let's see. Oh no, it's punished. They got punished for it. That is a shame. That is a shame. Allianna is entering the anti-battalion course. Or anti-battalion fight. Anti-battalion is one of the RNG heaviest sections of the run. The anti-battalion has several patterns, and the pattern you want to see here is the Pac-Man. And you don't want to see bullets, which is what Allianna is given here. This part of the run can really turn the tide with the RNG alone. A runner who gets beneficial RNG here can pull ahead quite a bit, even though they are behind. None of the runners are seeing any Pac-Man though. The Pac-Man is really absent tonight. None of the runners are seeing the Pac-Man here. Oh, there we go. Allianna sees Pac-Man at the very end, leaving the boss fight. And Zombie is also seeing a Pac-Man here, getting in some hits on the Pac-Man. And it's a purple Pac-Man. That's exactly what Zombie needed at this point to try to get a comeback here. But Zombie is about half a minute behind at this point, which can be scary. Can be really scary. Allianna is entering the showdown, which is the final show-off against the game's main antagonist, Valentine. It's gonna be a several-round punch-out style battle between Bryn and Valentine. This is one of the more fun course in my opinion of this game, because it's like just boss fight after boss fight after boss fight, and each of the boss fights are phenomenally designed and very different in the approach. It seems like Zombie is just half a boss fight behind, so this is still really anyone's race. And there we go. Valentine's going down for the second time for Allianna. And Zombie also seems to have her going down. There we go. Allianna is starting phase 3 though of the fight, with a really good looking health situation, but that is not beneficial by necessity in this part. Might actually be better to be in the health situation that, oh no, Allianna missed the reflect on the Valentine dash. It's not the end of the world, but it's really not preferable. Allianna's taking some hits here. I want to think it's on purpose, because there is a little mechanic the runners are gonna do at the end of this fight. Runners often take an intentional death after this fight to skip a cutscene. And the runners are really close now. Zombie really caught up to Allianna during the showdown. This is wonderful, and Allianna got the death. And Zombie is not going for the cutscene skip here. That is interesting. Allianna is trying to go for a stun lock and failed, regrettably. This boss is possible to stun lock, and Allianna was trying to go for it, but sadly failed. Zombie's not going for it. He's not trying to go for it, it seems. So this is still pretty even. And Allianna did not get it. This is like really anyone's race so far, and Allianna's done with the boss fight, and Zombie is soon to follow. I would say there's only seconds between the runners going into the final course. This race is really even. The driver's seat position has changed a little bit throughout the run, but Allianna stayed in the driver's seat for most of the race. Zombie is not letting Allianna get too far ahead. Zombie is really doing their best here to catch up with Allianna. And it's just seconds between the runners, really. Anything can still happen in this run. They are now fighting Mantis Core, and Allianna gets a what that was purple, and he reflected wonderfully. And there we go, lovely. Both of the runners are almost in sync out of the Mantis Core fight. Oof. This is going rough for both the runners that climb. That climb can be scary if you're not used to it. And it's at the end of the run, and Allianna is going to the whale core, and so is Zombie. Allianna is really having to fight for that driver's seat right now. Zombie is not letting her get ahead. Zombie is not letting her get ahead too much. Zombie is also beating the whale core relatively quickly here. And here, dropping down. Both of them are fighting against the spider core now. Both of them seem to have amazing early RNG on this fight. This is really what you want to see. Oh my... Both of the runners missed the second purple rocket. What in sync they are. Getting the same RNG and pretty much same RNG. There was a difference in what the second thing was. But getting pretty much as good RNG and failing at the same parts. This run is really even. But it seems like Zombie has the better health situation going into this game's two final bosses, which are really rough. It's very likely the runners are gonna take a safety death somewhere here, and we'll see. We will see what happens. But my bet is that the runners are gonna try to aim to take a safety death before the final boss fight here. Zombie getting the reflect and is actually pulling ahead. I would say Zombie is definitely in the driver's seat here. Zombie is definitely in the driver's seat here, going into the final boss fight. Zombie is back in the driver's seat after losing it on the second stage. But here comes the rival fight, and anything can happen. Neither of the runner has a good health situation, and Zombie is going for the intentional death here. Question is if Allianna's gonna follow suit. Yes, he is. Both runners taking a safe death before the rival fight, and Allianna is getting some really good start RNG here. Ooh, it was a yellow boot. That's a shame. And boop, beautiful, a purple boot. Allianna is back in the driver's seat, and Zombie is getting a purple boot. Both of them are trying to handle rockets now. And Allianna is getting a katana while Zombie is getting a rocket, which means that Zombie was pulling ahead there a little bit, and yeah, this is really gonna be close. This is a nail biter, everyone. This is a nail biter. We might have to ask the runners here to see who is winning. It seems like Zombie is gonna win though. Unless something really weird happens, Zombie is getting out here. Yeah, it seems like Zombie's winning the first round. Allianna is having some problems against the Rival. Rival refuses to give her the good stuff and keeps on giving the katanas. What a first race! What a first race that was! Allianna was sitting in the driver's seat for most of the race, but Zombie really pulled ahead at the end when it counted and pulled in a easy, not easy, as I don't know which term to use here. A clear victory. I think we gotta check in. We need to retime this because there was a little bit of delay between the rounds. It seems like the consensus is that Zombie won, so we are gonna give Zombie 1 point here. There we go, Zombie won against Allianna with 0 points so far. Whenever the runners are ready, we are gonna start the second round. So whenever the rounds are ready, we can start round number 2. I'll wait for the runners to calm down a little bit after that first exciting round. That round was so even up until the very end. And I can't wait to see what race number 2 is gonna look like between these two runners. Allianna is signaling that she's ready to continue. And it seems like Zombies all start to get ready here. I think we're gonna have the round number 2 starting very soon here. But yeah, oh my, what an even race that was. I cannot wait to see round 2 between these two runners. I'm gonna go check in on the runners and see what's happening. Seems like the runs are getting ready here, so we are ready to start very, very soon, it seems. The runners are getting ready. The runners are getting ready to start round number 2. This is gonna be really, really exciting after what we saw in the first round. This is really gonna be a very even race between these two runners. Both seem to be ready. We're gonna start very soon. Both are on the difficult selection screen now and are ready to go. It seems like the second race gonna start really, really soon. Rounds are getting ready. And this countdown gonna start now, so rounds are gonna start at any moment now. Here we go. The race number 2 is starting right now. Allianna does some really good movement to stage 1 here. Both rounds getting the first reflector. Lovely. Now they gotta do the climb. Let's see how the rounds are handling it. Allianna is struggling a little bit with the climb here. Zombie's getting through, and Zombie is pulling ahead a little bit here on the first course. I feel like this is a little bit like this first run. This was happening the first run as well. Zombie was getting ahead a little bit at the first course. Then Allianna caught up. Let's see if we get a replay of that. It's still really close between the runners though. Both of them are playing at around the same level at the early game. Allianna started to fight against the boss now while Zombie is halfway done. Allianna getting one of the purple reflex there though. I think Allianna took the driver's seat with that. It's hard to tell though because this fight is not yet over. It's gonna be really close. It's about how much Zombie was ahead at the start. I would say the rounds are basically in sync right now. But yeah, it feels like the rounds are perfectly in sync here for the second boss fight of the first course. Technically the fourth, but I am not counting the first two bosses. They are technically bosses, but, you know, they are not really having the health bar that is associated with being a boss. Allianna getting the purple and missed the reflect there. Seems like Zombie is gonna pull ahead here. Allianna getting a second shot at the reflect and got it this time. Zombie is definitely ahead out of stage 1. Definitely ahead of stage 1. Getting a gold it looks like. Getting a gold out of stage 1. What a run! What a run! Both runners now entering stage 2. Both the runners facing minor issues in the first platform section, but nothing to major. Zombie entering Kitty Shopper fights and getting some... Getting the purple reflect on the boss, that is huge! And Allianna gets a big purple rocket too. This is really good luck on the end of both runners here. Not the runners can really complain about what they are given by the Kitty Shopper here. Zombie still being ahead though. Zombie is still clearly in the lead here going into the tunnel. Zombie seems to once again be struggling a bit in the tunnel, but it doesn't seem to be too bad. The health situation is looking good. There shouldn't be any problems in the health department here for Zombie. Getting a rocket, lovely. Zombie seems to be half a boss fight ahead of Allianna here. Allianna getting a little rocket there, and beautiful. Zombie's getting out, and Allianna is soon to follow. Both the runs are doing amazingly well though. Going into Valentine. And now the interesting part starts for Zombie here. Let us see if they can both get 3 out of 3 this time as well as they did last time. Zombie starting off getting the rough pattern here, getting it perfectly. Allianna having a little easier time, also gets it well. Both have 1 out of 1 so far, and Zombie failed the laser beam. That is rough. That might put Allianna in the driver's seat here. That might be enough to put Allianna into the driver's seat unless he fails this part here, and didn't. The runners are in perfect sync out of that boss fight. The runners are synced out of Valentine. The runners are in perfect sync out of Valentine. This is even. This is even, everyone. We'll see how the runners decide to handle Ninja this time around. If Allianna goes for the same strategy as before and Zombie goes for the same strategy as before, there is a chance that Allianna is gonna pull ahead in this course. If she does have an accident happening. And here we go. Beautiful, beautiful. There we go. Zombie is a little ahead here, out of the red fight. That might be needed in case Allianna goes for the same strategy as before. And pulls it off. Zombie starting a Ninja fight right now. Getting the reflex here. 1, 2, 3, and dash. 1, 2, 3, and dash. Beautiful. 1. Allianna is pulling ahead a little bit here. I'm gonna explain why that happens. Allianna is shooting at the boss while the boss is doing the thing. What's happening here? Beautiful. We saw a little bit lag there, but it's not so problematic. Allianna is, as expected, pulling ahead a little bit in the Ninja fight due to the strategy. To use that strategy on this Ninja fight is extremely beneficial. Zombie once again having trouble with phase 2 Ninja. Oh please, don't die on us! Don't die on us here, Zombie. Don't die on us. Don't die on us here. There we go. Good one. I was... No! No! Zombie died! After we do the Ninja fight, that's devastating. That is devastating. I think Zombie tried to go for a fast intentional death there, but we're a little bit too early with the death and had to pay the price for it. What a nasty turn of events. Allianna soon done with Rex Rocket while Zombie is just about to get into the auto-scroller. What a nasty turn of events for Zombie. What a nasty turn of events. It's still not over though. I cannot stress this enough. It's still not over. If we learned anything from the last race is that Zombie never ever lets Allianna have the lead for long. Zombie is really, really good at coming back. But there is gonna take quite a bit for a comeback here. But I do believe in Zombie. I do believe in Zombie. I want to see an even race. Allianna going for the cleanup strat against Chef Spammer. And Zombie is finally defeating Rex Rocket. That was a really good Rex Rocket fight for Zombie. It might actually be enough to help out a little bit. Allianna is now done with the Shaft Spammer at 45 seconds. We're gonna see how long it takes for Zombie to get that part done. There is potential for a little bit of time save here. Allianna is in the infamous tunnel. Interesting fact here, even though this tunnel is an auto score, it's very possible to lose time here. If you take damage to this tunnel, it's gonna slow down, and that loses several seconds. It's something runners never want to see. This tunnel is very heavily practiced by speedrunners of this game to ensure that doesn't happen, and it's very, very carefully routed to make that possibility as low as possible. Zombie is handling Jasper relatively well, getting out at it's gonna look like a 50 here. 50, yeah. Zombie lost about 5 seconds on that part to Allianna. But still, anything can still happen. This is still anyone's race. Allianna's going into the Guppy fight. Let us see how Allianna plays with this lead. Allianna could, technically speaking, take a safer white fight here, and still stay up in the lead. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. It doesn't look like Allianna is going for an intentional death after this fight, so Allianna might do a little more conservative white fight here. That is a very real possibility. I know the white fight was one of the parts where Zombie really got some... Okay, it looks like maybe Allianna is gonna take a safety death here. Yeah, Allianna is definitely going for a safety death here. Allianna is going for the safety death for the strat. I have a feeling Allianna is gonna go for the risky strat here, and she is. She is. Meanwhile, Zombie is at the worms. That was good. Allianna's doing really, really well here. Having a little bit of a struggle with the Robo White again, like last time. Allianna's done with the white fight just as Zombie is going into it. Let's see what Zombie does here. Zombie once again going for a safer strat. Last time it really helped them out. See if it does so this time too. The advantage of going for the strat Zombie's using here is that Zombie doesn't need to waste time getting an intentional death to have a high health bar going into the fight. And it's also very little variance in the fight. It's gonna take the time it takes, which I think is gonna be very beneficial for Zombie here. It turns out, yes indeed, Zombie is definitely having a faster white fight than Allianna has again. Once again, seems like safety over speed here is the key. Still really impressive to see Allianna going for that strategy on this fight. It's something I definitely did not expect to see any runner do in the first round of this tournament. Allianna is entering the segment slider, doing really well so far. This boss is once again, I can testify this myself, really horrible on controller. But Allianna is doing it remarkably well. Not getting the sub 1 minute here, but getting a 101 kill on that fight. Let us see what Zombie matches that with. While Allianna is flying around through the zero gravity section. Zombie's having a relatively good time here with the boss, getting a... It looks like it's gonna be a 106. Yeah, 106. Allianna is just done with the first part of this boss fight. The health situation is looking a little bad though, but it looks like Allianna is gonna take the moment here and take a little safety death. A very, very wise choice on Allianna's part here. There is no shame in taking a death in the warship. There is no shame at all taking a safe death or 2 in the warship if it means you are not losing on a boss fight. The warship is probably the hardest split in the run. There is no point in this course where there is room for the runners to slow down and just take it easy. Allianna is getting the clean up a little bit, not good, but getting some stuff off is better than no stuff off. A little hint of that boss fight, the closer to the middle you are, generally speaking, the more stuff you will get away from the boss. So it's preferable to try to clean up as much possible there to make it easier. It seems like Zombie is one boss fight behind Allianna now. That can change though. It is time to get to the great cruel gatekeeper, the anti-battalion. If anti-battalion says no, you are losing time. If anti-battalion says yes, you are getting amazing times. Anti-battalion is, as mentioned before, a really RNG heavy fight where there are some patterns that are better than others. Zombie taking their sweet time with his fight, but Allianna is looking to be in a sketchy health position going into anti-battalion, which can be punishing. Anti-battalion is not an easy fight. And she gets a Pac-Man. That is exactly what Allianna wanna see. It is not what Zombie needs to see at this point though. Zombie is gonna need some remarkable stuff happening now to pull ahead. Allianna is a little scary in the health department, but I have a feeling Allianna is gonna pull it off, and there we go. Allianna is out of the course. Zombie is just starting the anti-battalion fight, while Allianna is joining the little bit of a cutscene after the fight. This section here takes around 30 seconds. Let's see what the anti-battalion gives to Zombie. Starting off with some not too spicy patterns. Nothing too bad, but nothing too spicy either. The bullets, that's the thing you don't want to see on normal. On the higher difficult levels, the bullets are actually really, really good. But on normal, the bullets is the thing you don't want to see. Getting some more bullets here. The anti-battalion is not generous to Zombie today. There we go, finally Zombie seeing some Pac-Man action. And leaves the course. Allianna is handling the Valentine Fight on the first step here. Clean and done. As it looks right now, though, it looks like Zombie has a really large uphill battle to get the driver's seat from Allianna here. But it's and still anything can happen. Unfortunate death somewhere can cost a lot of time in this run. The runs are not really that far between one another where one major mistake couldn't upset this run still, but I'm really not hoping for anything like that to happen. As that would be horrible for runner when it happens to. But Bleed 2 is a cruel game, and the Rival fight can be particularly cruel. Rival is a really rough fight, really, especially for newer runners. There are a lot of mechanics that fight that requires some expertise to perform well. Allianna having a really good health situation here, but has some problems. There we go. There we go, getting the reflect there. Lovely. Allianna's down there. Allianna is preparing herself to take the intentional death. Jumping down. Just as Zombie is entering phase 3 of Valentine. If I remember correctly from race number 1, Zombie had an easier time with Valentine than Allianna has, so I think Zombie can gain some time here. Allianna's still too early on that unlock. Allianna is about half a second too early to get a stun lock. There we go, that was the right timing. That was the right timing. That is the timing you want to see of that stun lock. There you get to see the stun lock. It is a very rough thing to time, and it's something runners have to practice for. Zombie once again doesn't go for the cutscene skip. Allianna is really ahead here. Zombie definitely caught up during the Valkyrie fight. What is happening on Zombie's end? There we go, there we go, there we go. There we go, Zombie, that's what you want to do. I was a little concerned there for a bit. Zombie's not going for a stun lock once again. And that was a nasty squat. Missing the reflex that squat is expensive. But Allianna definitely have time to do mistakes here. Allianna has time on her side here. Allianna is very clearly in driving seat in this race far. I would say Allianna is easily 55 seconds ahead here. It is gonna take a lot to overthrow this lead. But anything can still happen. This is Bleed 2, and there is a rival fight coming up. Rival is another really cruel RNG check, as you saw last round. Allianna really got a lot of katanas during the last fight there, which did cause an upset. Well, it didn't cause the upset, but it's... You know what I mean. It was basically the deciding factor who got the most katanas there. Allianna getting through the rival fight, or the Whalecore fight, just as Zombie is getting through the Mantis fight. Start the Spider Core fight. Allianna is doing really well here. I think I am smelling a setup for a safe death in the future on Allianna's end here. I have a feeling Allianna is gonna aim for a safety death after the Brawling Core fight, but I'm not sure. We'll see what happens here. It seems like I was correct. I think Allianna is indeed gonna go for decreasing her health a little bit here at point when it's safe to do so. But never below a certain threshold, I think. But I do indeed think Allianna is gonna aim at safe death before the rival fight. Allianna missing that reflect, that is expensive. Allianna's struggling a little bit against the crawling core here. Ooh, don't get that low, Allianna. I know you want to save the death, but don't go that low. It's very dangerous, and there we go. She got through. I am pretty certain Allianna is gonna aim at a safety death here, and I'm pretty sure Zombie's gonna aim at a safety death at this boss fight as well. The health situation for this crawling core fight is not great. We will see though what happens. Allianna is not going for a safety death here. Is Allianna seriously aiming to fight the rival with 2 health and playing tennis game? That is very, very brave. I'm not sure if it's brave or just weird. This is a very scary choice on Allianna's end. I would not expect this kind of brave gameplay here. This can end tragically. Zombie had some problems with the crawling core and took a death there, but this is really scary. Oh no, Allianna died on the rival fight! It does give Zombie some time to catch up though. Zombie has time to catch up here. But that is not what we want to see here. We didn't want to see deaths from any of the runners. That was very, very brave from Allianna's end part though, but I am not sure if it was the correct choice. Allianna was ahead, so she didn't have to go for that. There was no reason on her end to go for that. This does leave the opportunity for Zombie to catch up. It doesn't seem likely though, but it can definitely happen. Rival can be nasty. Rival can keep giving katanas and rockets forever, and at that point there is not much a runner can do. Allianna playing the tennis game, and I think it's game here. I think it's game, yes indeed. Allianna won round 2. What a nail biter that was. Once again, really, really even. Really even. Oh my, sorry for that. My throat's a little tired. I think the runners are preparing themselves for round 3 pretty quickly. But yeah, that was the round 2. We are gonna give Allianna the score here, and we are gonna entering the lovely round 3 between these 2 runners. Gonna talk with the runners now and see if they're ready. it seems like the runs are gonna take a little break, so will I. We gotta take a little break and we will be back soon. With the final third round in this very, very even race between these two runners. Okay, so while we wait for runners to return from their well-deserved break after these two very tight and very exciting matches, I should talk a little bit more about the tournament. This tournament is gonna be a double elimination style tournament, so whoever loses this match is still gonna be in the tournament. The tournament is also has a prize pool donated generously by Speedrunning Academy of $100 Australian, where $75 goes to the first place of the tournament and $25 to the runner-up. We in the Bleed Running community decided to run this tournament to encourage newer runners or less experienced runners, to start pick up the game and to race in an environment where, in a very, 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 very casual environment, but yet competitive environment. To encourage improving themselves in the game and to dip their feet deeper into speedrunning Bleed too. We are also having a match booked for tomorrow. We're gonna have a match tomorrow evening as well at 6 p.m. Eastern, I think it was. I am gonna check it up. So I don't say it wrong. I don't want to give you false information here. That is the wrong schedule. That's embarrassing on my end. Here we go, this should be the correct one. Yeah, here we go, 6 p.m. CST, I think? Or is it, if it's Eastern? Yeah, in Eastern time. Gonna have a race at 6 p.m. So please look forward to that as well. That match is gonna be between Zade and Dead on Arrival. So I hope you all look forward to that match drop tomorrow. Let us go and check if our runners have returned. It seems like the runners are back. There we go. The runners are back and ready for round 3. Gonna wait for the runners to start and start for the countdown and as soon as possible. And this is gonna be the final round in this best of 3. The rounds are currently standing 1-1. It has been 2 very even races so far. Let us hope for a third really even and lovely race to top off this starting run of this tournament. Remember what I said before? Just because the runner is losing this round, it doesn't mean that their journey is over. This is, as I said before, a double elimination tournament. So whoever loses this round will be facing off against another runner later down the road to try to get their way back into the final round. Seems like the runners are making themselves ready to start. Gonna see how the countdown is going. The countdown is happening and it's gonna start as soon as possible now. Seems like the runners are getting ready. Runners are on our red start here. Start the final round. There we go, they are starting here. Both runners are getting out of their homes to go out and save the world for the third time tonight. Saving the world from the cruel, villainous Valentine. Both runners are pretty much in sync here going into the first fight here. There we go, lovely. Both runners get to reflect once again. Allianna having a little problem with the climb here, it seems like. Which means that Zombie is pulling ahead just a little bit, just slightly ahead. You have to keep in mind that Zombie is about 2 seconds, start about 1.5 to 2 seconds before Allianna here. So it's very hard to tell at this point who is ahead and not. Allianna getting the bullet there, and then Allianna getting the double of RNG goodness. Double purple, that is exactly what runners want to see. Allianna is definitely pulling ahead a little bit there with that RNG. But it's still so even, so it is basically on the starting difference. And it's gonna be very hard to tell who is gonna get out ahead here. Allianna is having a little worse of a health situation, but so far this boss has not posed any serious troubles to any of the runners. The health situation should not be a problem here. Both runners going to the mirror core now. Allianna getting the purple, getting the reflect as well. Allianna's pulling ahead a little bit, but anything can happen. And Zombie got the reflect as well and is now pulling ahead a little bit. This is really even between two runners. I think Zombie is slightly ahead. It's hard to tell with the delay at the start. But they are pretty much in sync out of stage 1 once again. Let us see what happens next. The highway has been a split where both the runners have had a little bit of problems on both runs differently. Allianna getting the fly away. Thankfully the boss didn't fly behind the screen because that would have been devastating. And Zombie is sadly getting the behind the stage. That is the worst thing that boss can do. The reason why that is so devastating is because there is nothing you really can do about it when it happens. The boss has a long time then when you can't hurt it. And that is a problem. Zombie is finishing the fight slightly ahead of Allianna. You gotta pronouncing names. That is one of my biggest weaknesses. That is also, by the way, why I try to avoid saying the names of the bosses. Going into the Simicore fight. Zombie is going for a low motion strat there. Allianna going for getting a reflect there. Zombie is also getting a reflect. Both runs are being treated really well by this boss. Allianna has a little sketchy health situation though, but it shouldn't matter at this point. Any mess up on the next boss fight is not causing health, but time most of the time. If you go, both the runs are getting into the Valentine Fight. Zombie slightly ahead of Allianna, but that can change. Depending on the patterns of the boss. Allianna avoiding damage there. I am gonna be way more cautious about Allianna here because of the health situation. I'm obviously gonna check so none of them are failing the mechanics. But the health situation can be a problem. Allianna getting the cards. I think this is the first pink cards, and she failed them. That is a huge time loss, 0-1, and Zombie is 1-1. Zombie is 2-1 and Allianna is... or 2-0 and Allianna is 1-1. Zombie getting the free cycle kill, it looks like. Yes, they are, I think. Yes, Zombie is pulling ahead here because of that little accident with the car Allianna had. That happens though, even runners on a high level fail that car strategy at times. It is not strange to fail that, because it's relatively easy to fail that, and sometimes the car just refuses to get reflected, even if you hit them. If you hit them at certain angles. But Zombie is significantly ahead here. There is no question who's in the driver's seat now. Zombie is 100% in the driver's seat in this race, in this final race. Once again, though, it should be stated that Allianna has had a habit of pulling ahead in on this level because of the Ninja strat. We'll see if that serves her well this run as well. It is a riskier strat. It is not a free strat. As I said before, I am super surprised to actually see it in the first round of the tournament. It is a strategy I was not expecting to see at this point in the tournament. Allie is getting through here, and Zombie is getting into the Ninja fight again. Zombie once again going for only reflex, not shooting any bullets. Allianna failing a reflex. That is not nice. A little hard to tell what's happening on Zombie's end here due to lag, but it looks good. Both the rounds are pretty much equal now. As I said before, this is basically the point of the run where Allianna is usually pulling ahead because of the Ninja strat, which she is using relatively flawless now as well. Allie is definitely in the driving seat here. Clearly in the driving seat here. Let us see here that things are going well. There we go. Somebody got out the Ninja fight there. Slightly behind. As mentioned earlier, this is Allie's strong suit in this run. This is the part where Allie is having a huge advantage on Zombie due to the Ninja strat. It is not a free strat though. It's definitely something she has practiced quite a bit. It's a rough strategy. And as I mentioned many times, it's not something I expected to see in the first round of this tournament. This race is definitely strats over, or not. Strats versus, like safe strats versus more risky strats that requires a little more risk and practice in them. It is gonna be interesting to see who comes out of top here, because both these rounds are displaying very, very different philosophies in what they have decided to practice. It's very clear that from an aiming perspective and from a general boss perspective, Zombie is performing a little better generally speaking. But when it comes to specific strats, Ali has definitely chosen to go for the rougher strat and to capitalize on that. So this is gonna be really, really interesting to the outcome of. The question is if Ali is gonna go for the white strat again, even though it has so far seemed to be punishing her a little bit. My gut feeling says that yes, he's going to go for it. Because Ali seems to be really, really, really much for going for the rougher strats. I think that is actually a pretty healthy choice considering the style of the tournament to go for that early on. And to start to learn it for later rounds when it's gonna matter more. Because it has to be kept in mind that if you lose this round, you are not out of the tournament. So it might be worth to go for a growth pattern, which is gonna make you peak later on in the tournament rather than having a good start. That is something that's very, very worth to keep in mind here. Learn these rough strats might be extremely beneficial actually down the line. Ali having a really good health situation here going into the boss gauntlet. Zombie having some trouble with the tunnel is not good. Oh, Zombie's having some really bad trouble in the tunnel. This is the kind of things you don't want to see in a run, especially not in the third race in a best of 3. Ali is definitely getting ahead here. Ali's keeping on the good health bar here too. I don't think Ali's even gonna have to do a safety death here. Ali's gonna be able to go for the white strat here, I think, without taking a safety death. I'm not sure if she's going to with this health bar. I know I probably wouldn't. I would just take my lead here and run with it. But this is the person who ran against the Ninja with 2 health points. It seems like Ali's gonna go for a safety death here. I definitely recognize this pattern of taking damage on purpose to be able to take a safety death before this course. This is definitely a strategy I have done multiple times, especially in race settings, where you just take intentional damage to that boss fight to be able to die before the white fight. And that's exactly what happened. I think Ali was definitely aiming to do it without the safety death, and it's starting to pay off here. Oh my god, look at this! Look at this! Look at this white fight. It's a really, really good white fight. Having some good RNG mixed in with the good strat here is really helpful. There we go. Ali's done with white. Zombie is having a little bit of trouble here. Having this health bar against white is really, really scary. It's a good thing that Zombie is going for the safer strat here, so there is no problems there. I still think Zombie is doing slightly better on that fight than Ali's doing with the safer strats, especially considering the slow motion that allows him to really capitalize on the moments when you can't damage the boss with that strat. I think it's really, really helpful in general, and it's a really, really good beginner strategy. And that's something we're gonna see a lot in this tournament, I think. I think we're gonna see a lot of runs where the runs are gonna handle that boss fight very differently. We're seeing 2 ways to handle the boss right now, but there are several more. Robo White is one of the most interesting fights to watch runners run. Because even on the top level, there is different philosophies on how to handle that fight. And between runs we're learning the game, the difference is gonna be huge. But now we are going into the segment slider part. Allie is gonna start the fight here, doing really well at the beginning here. Oh, beautiful. And the situation is not looking great. That can be a little sketchy later, but that's a problem for Allie 2 minutes in the future. That's gonna be a decision she's gonna have to make then. Maybe she's gonna have to make it sooner than anticipated. This is not looking too good for Allie here. Allie's really getting through there, but Zombie is definitely catching up here, and Zombie has a really good health situation. Unlike Allie here. I think Zombie is looking in a really good spot here because Allie's gonna have to take a safety death. I think this is definitely enough yeah, it's definitely enough. Zombie is catching up here. It is expected that this happens though. It is a pattern we have seen so far in these races where Allie is having a really good time catching up on Ninja, catching up on Shaft Spammer, getting a little time there and getting ahead, and then Zombie is getting a little bit better on White and on this course. That seems to be the general pattern here, and of course on Valentine. It creates for really interesting races where it's gonna be back and forward. Beautiful. Beautiful. Both of them got the first one correct. This is unbelievably even. Allie's going for 2 bombs there. Allie's not getting the reflect there. That is expensive. I think that is enough for me to safely say that Zombie is probably gonna be in the driver's seat after this. Zombie is almost certainly gonna be in the driver's seat after this course. This boss fight. No! 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 That did not just happen! Oh my gosh! That was such an unfortunate accident. Commentator cursing. I cursed around. I'm so sorry, Zombie, for saying that. I was so sorry for saying you were in driver's seat there. Commentator cursing. The run again. Pick up your bingo cards, everyone, because this happens every single tournament. And if you got bingo, please feel free to say so in the chat. Allie died in the bubble section, which is not nearly as devastating as dying at the end of that boss fight. That was devastating. Allie is definitely in the driver's seat now. But that can change. That can change here. Anti-Battalion is once again a huge RNG check. Runners want to see Pac-Man. Runners want to see Frost because it's quick. Runners do not want to see missiles. That is a big no-no. What runners want to see is the Pac-Man, and Allie got a Pac-Man. It was a yellow Pac-Man, but a Pac-Man nonetheless. Allie's soon done with the Anti-Battalion, and Zombie is just starting up. I think Allie's in the last cycle here and getting a Pac-Man. Let's hope that Zombie gets some Pac-Man here, and there we go! Let's hope for a double Pac-Man for Zombie so Zombie can catch up a little bit. Regrettably, a yellow Pac-Man, not a purple one. Rockets, that's not nice. Zombie's going for a reflex on the rockets though. Can we get a second Pac-Man for Zombie? There we go. There we go. It's not enough to catch up, but... Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Zombie died on the anti-battalion fight right as they delivered the last shot on the anti-battalion. Two really devastating boss deaths on this course. This is not looking very good for Zombie right now. This is not looking good for Zombie right now. I don't want to say it's game, but that is devastating. Zombie having an amazing anti-battalion fight though. The question is that enough to catch up being this much behind? Zombie is about a minute behind this point. It's definitely possible to catch up at this point. We have to keep in mind that Zombie so far has performed better on Valentine Fight than Ali has. But Zombie is not going for a stun lock while Ali is. And if Ali pulls off the stun lock, it can be game because that saves a lot of time. Zombies really trying their best to catch up here. This is rough. This is rough. Alice getting the reflect on Val free. Seems like Alice soon done with Val free. It's really hard to see what's happening on Zombie's end here due to lag. Seems like Zombie has finished the second phase of the Valentine fight, but Ali is just finished stage 3 and is entering the final part of the fight. If Ali pulls off the stun lock here, it is gonna be really rough for Zombie to pull ahead here. Ali right on time with the first unlock. Will she get the second one as well? And she did. Zombie is really gonna have to do the stun lock here to stand a fair chance here. Zombie once again not going for the intentional death here. This is gonna be a very uphill battle for Zombie here. Ali is definitely in the driving seat here. Not just in the driving seat. It's like Ali is in an entirely different car altogether. Zombie once again not going for the stun lock strat. Ali's just not in the driving seat anymore. Ali is in the car 5 trucks ahead here. There is gonna be a lot that's needed here for the tide to turn. Need a lot for the tide to turn here. It is not impossible. Rival is a rough fight as we've seen earlier today. But it is gonna come down to the rival fight, I think. Ali is over one boss ahead. Over one boss ahead here in the final course. Zombie is just about to leave the showdown as Ali is going up against the Whale Core. Ali getting the reflect there. Ali is really good at getting the proper rockets reflect on Whale Core, I should mention. Beautiful. Allie is done with the whale core as Zombie is still on the mantis core. Allie's having a really good health situation as well. Zombie getting the reflector, lovely. A 40-second kill on mantis core is not bad at all at this level. Zombie is 100% doing their best to catch up here, trying to get the win. It is gonna be an uphill battle, but I do still believe in Zombie. I do still believe in Zombie being able to get back here. It is once again gonna be a really huge uphill battle, but it is not over until it's over. The rival fight, once again, can't stress enough. The rival fight is rough, it's an RNG check, it's a hard fight. It is the ultimate final boss fight for this game. And Allie is really playing really bravely as well, taking many risks, which can be punished, as we saw in the last round. I'm not sure what Allie is going for here. There we go, lovely. Allie is done here, and the crawling core is gonna go down. Allie has a really good health situation. If I could enter the rival fight with this health situation, this time situation every single run, I would be happy. Allie has had a wonderful epilogue so far. It has been a textbook example of how to do epilogue so far on Allie's end. And here comes the rival fight. Getting a purple hue, getting the reflect. There is nothing to complain about here on Allie's end. Getting the rockets. Zombies entering. Missing the rocket there. Zombies entering the crawling core. This is really up in Zombies' end now to either Allie getting very horrible RNG on the rival fights, or Allie messing up, because there is gonna be needed way more the good gameplay from Zombie now to catch up. With half the rival's health bar left, while Zombie is still in the crawling core. We are seeing some of that RNG though. Allie missed the boot. We are seeing a mix of messy gameplay. Ooh, Allie's health situation is not looking good now. A death now from Allie could be devastating. It could lead to Zombie taking the win here. Allie's gonna have to play it really safe for the end here. Allie's refusing the tennis match. Wise choice. And oh no, not Katana here. This is okay, good. Allie managed to do that. That would have been devastating for Allie. And Allie got the final shot there. That was a nail biter on Allie's end. Allie is taking the first round here of the tournament after a nail biting 3-rounder. That could have ended anyway. Allie is getting 2. And Allie is done.
I want an intense round where I clutched and shouldn't.
Zombie is here. Trying to finish the round. And there we go, Zombie is winning as well.
Let's see if that beats my personal best. Look at that, it did. Oh, how fun.
We are getting some down here on their part. We gotta call down on them too. And there we go. Both the runs are done. Are the runners up for an interview after the run? We have time for a short interview maybe? Let us see here who joined in. Ali joined in for the post-run chat. Let's see if Zombie's joining too. Zombie seems to be joining too. Let's wait for Zombie to join. There we go. Now both the runners are here. Hello. How are you doing?
Am I
Hello.
I have no idea. I just got the invite. Hi.
Hello. So
That was very stressful.
Yeah, that was a really
my God.
intense free rounder. That was a really
Yeah.
intense free round fight.
Yeah, it was a good game. Good game.
Yeah.
Hold on. Sorry, I have the stream on my phone. Hi.
Yeah.
God,
Hello.
wow. That was a lot.
Yeah, it was. It was.
I said this in the bleed running server, but I didn't practice at all before that. I didn't practice.
I would look really silly if I lost that because I
Oh
did.
no, it
practice.
would have. I mean, I'm surprised I even won the first round because in the first round I kept fucking up the entire time. I kept choking. I'm pretty sure I died multiple times in that run, but
I
wow.
feel like I did worse the second two. Well, at least round 2 I died at Rival near the very end of the fight.
You were ahead of me like the whole time, at least because I kept looking. Which my mistake was, I kept looking over at the speed. Sorry,
Yeah,
I've probably
yeah.
been interrupting. Sorry, I don't know your name in the comment.
I'm Allie.
No, I know your name, of course, but I don't know who's commentating. I feel like we just kind of
Firesplitter.
took over. Fire Splitter? Okay, well.
Yeah, no. You are not talking over me. We are here to talk about you, not about me.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you. Very flattering, but God, that was a lot. I don't think I've ever experienced that much stress playing a video game in my life. And you know what? I like it. I want more.
I know.
Yeah,
that was the first thing I've ever competed in. I've never done a speed run
Yeah.
thing before. That was lots of fun.
I mean,
That is
and
a
I
good
wasn't
thing.
I
That's a
wasn't
good thing
lying.
because both of you are going to be able to run again.
Oh. I did
Uh-huh.
not know that. I'm just going with the flow here. I'm
Yeah.
I'm going and I'm going. I did
Yeah.
PB in that last round though.
Yeah, Aliana, you are going to go on to the winners bracket,
Oh boy.
and you are gonna go to the losers bracket, Zombie, where you are gonna face off the loser in an upcoming fight match.
Alright. So I get to beat up Allie's victims.
Yeah,
I'm down
pretty
for that.
much.
I'm down for that. I'm down for that.
Might be me again.
Yeah.
I'm down for beating up other people. You know, I got this. You know, I will definitely practice more next time because it's clear I need more practice after that.
Yeah, practice is really useful in speedrunning. I did notice a little bit of difference between the two of you run styles, though. I noticed that you,
I mean-
Ali, went for a lot more risky strats, while Zombie, you went for a lot of safer strats. Is there
I
any
was
particular
risky.
Like that's
reason for
the
that?
other way around.
It was risky, honestly.
I mean,
But-
I would honestly just like I take dying over, you know, health any day. I mean,
You
Really-
tried to.
I mean, the times I died would be the times where I'd get too overconfident. I'd be like, yeah, no, I could hit list, boss. I could not hit list a lot of the bosses I said I could hit list. Especially the stupid ship core that killed me. And that ship core on the third round, that was the downfall of that run. That was where it all ended right there.
Yeah. What I was really impressed, though, was how consistent you were on the boss fight, Zombie. You were, like, consistently faster on most boss fights, I feel.
I mean, a lot of the times, I guess something that probably contributes to that is I'm really interested in, like, design of games. I know it sounds really weird to bring up, but a lot of times when I'm, like, fighting something major, like the enemies, you could probably notice I was getting hit by the enemies a lot more than I was the bosses, because when I played Bleed 2 for the first time, I really, like, kind of hyper focused on boss design because you're fighting bosses a lot longer than you're fighting enemies.
It is the focus
Yeah,
of the
I
game.
did notice that. I did notice that you were really, really solid on most of the boss fights.
Yeah, the freaking the 4 mech boss fights. That one I'd memorized pretty well because I've played both bleeds, so I kind of memorized their fighting patterns from the first game, and basically once you get to the Bunny Sprocket boss fight, it's kind of like I'm kind of comfortable in that spot between that last fight and then the Valentine fight in the ring, because that fight I have basically memorized. God, like
I love that fight. Yeah.
oh my, it's a good fight. I like it. I mean, you could probably tell that I also messed up on taunting near the end.
Me too.
There.
I did almost every time. I got them all. On the third round, I got all of them right, but before that, I feel like I failed all.
The optimal strat there, I feel like, is to hit her with the corner of the can, so she has less time to be hit, and also then you can shoot her to deal the rest of the damage. But that's really hard to pull off, and I think I pulled it off in one of the rounds, but I didn't notice it very much.
Yeah.
God, I'm still like recoiling from everything. Too.
A lot of reflect mishaps. I feel like I missed a lot of just basic mechanics. A lot.
Yeah.
I mean,
one thing continue.
Go ahead.
Continue. No, you continue first. I have a long question here soon afterwards.
Oh boy.
Something that I feel like I have a lot of trouble with is definitely the warship. Whatever, I can't remember all the level names and recoiling from the match, but the purple goop balls.
Yes.
Those
worst level
always mess me up. There is that one spot when the whole ship is crumbling after the core fight where all of them collect at the stairs. I have dubbed that area the stair trap. I get caught in that so many times. It's so hard to dodge, but inevitably you get past it.
I can tell you are in good company. Even top runners have problems with that section of the run. It is the by far roughest platforming section of the entire run. That section.
Yeah,
most runners are having a route for that, which is very, very much. If anything deviates from that path, it's basically really rough time for most runners. Even on a top level, it's rough.
I mean, it only lasts like a few seconds. Like it's just a bunch of goop on stairs, and yet it's the bane of every bleed runner's existence.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually died on that in round 3, didn't I? Yeah, I finished the core fight with like the worst amount of HP. Like I had too much to the point where I felt like I was too out of the way to kill myself on purpose, but it was still low enough where I definitely could have died. And I died. Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, one thing I want to talk about with you, Ali, I noticed that you were going for really, really high level strategies at parts. We're going for spinning around with the white boss in the white fight.
Oh, so I didn't think to do it. Is there a different way?
Wait, what do you mean? What do you mean spinning around? Like going on top of him and shooting?
I kind of rotate around him as the shield rotates.
That is one of the hardest.
I don't find that worth it, honestly.
It's worth it once you get to very consistent with it. That's why I was really impressed you were going for that, because that's a really, really high level strategy.
I didn't even realize. I thought that's how you're supposed to do it, because I don't want to just keep shooting and nothing's happening.
I did it when I played. That's how I did it when I played through the game initially, and I didn't find the time to do it in the runs I was in, because half the time he would just do the parryable ring attack, so I didn't feel the need to go up and do it, because I'd have plenty of time to just shoot him from the ground.
Yeah. I also noticed that you went for the katana strategy for the ninja, where you are standing in the specific box space, where you can hit the ninja with the katana flurry.
Wait, me?
Yeah, you.
Wait, I'm sorry, I'm lost. What are you referring to?
Wait, you can hit him when he's deflecting anything?
Yes, you can hit him with the katana flurry at certain points.
Oh, ninja, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, that's
when he's stationary.
Really rough
you can use katana.
I hate that boss now. If you had to rank top boss fights I hate, it's that boss fight now. Probably the most questionable move I made was intentionally jumping off the edge when he died.
Yeah, I know.
Days earlier,
the
reason why I did that was days earlier. Jacket, he he added me and he was like, "Hey, 10:55, you died." I think he said like you died at the ninja fight. I didn't know you could do that. I thought there were invisible walls. I'm like, "What? No, that's only when the whale core is moving off screen." So he then theorized that maybe you could die in his death cutscene and skip the scene where he shoots him with missiles altogether. And I was standing there. I was like, "You know what? I'm already ahead. I'll take this risk to get a time boost."
Oh no!
And you could, if you were on my stream, you could hear me go, "Oh my god, that didn't work. That didn't work. Oh no!"
Oh, no,
and it was just done from there.
That was a devastating. That was a devastating point that run. I was kind of figuring out that was what happened there.
Cutscene. But now, see, Jackets was saying you did it. Like I did it early. I don't think there was any like later I could have done it. I feel like if it was then or now, and I did it now.
After he disappears off screen, I think you can jump off. You did it. You even did it. That's how Jackets pointed it out because you had done it. You had.
I didn't
like
do
after
it. No,
he
I
was
didn't do it
completely
in
gone.
that fight. I didn't do it in that fight. Did I do it in that VOD? Because I thought what he was referring to
yeah,
was at
it wasn't before the missile cutscene, though.
Yeah, you managed to pull it off in that VOD.
At 10:55, I fell off unintentionally, but I didn't die.
You did, though. Yeah.
I need to go rewatch that VOD.
You said you did an intentional death to be healed before the next part. And you could do it after Ninja dies because it doesn't respawn him.
Yeah, but if you do it too early, it does respawn because it's very, very complicated when bots are counting as dead.
Oh, well, now I feel even worse knowing I could have pulled that off and I didn't.
Yeah. How do you feel about the race, though?
Me?
Both of you.
Allie, do you want to go first since you won?
I mean, I did not expect to win. I'll be honest. I went into this thing. I was like, I love this game. One of my favorite games of all time. No, honestly, I've never tried speedrunning it before. I was like, hey, a beginner's tournament. I maybe could do that. Maybe, I guess. And then I assumed I'd lose, but I didn't. So I don't know. It's better than I thought I would do. So I'm really happy with what happened. There's a lot of things I know I could have done better. A lot of mistakes I kept making that were really frustrating me, but
yeah,
I will keep practicing.
Yeah.
I mean, truth be told, I didn't seek out the race. What happened was I was streaming Bleed 2 because I bought Bleed 2 in the bundle for Ukraine on itch.io and I played it. I streamed it. I was like, yeah, I really like this game. I have no ideas what to stream. So I jokingly put in the title Bleed Speedrunning because I beat the game originally in like 40 minutes. And Jackets came in my stream. He was like, "Hey man, are you really thinking of speedrun?" And I was like, "I've never speedrun a video game in my life, but I'm interested." And he was like, "Yeah, we're having a beginners tournament. Why don't you come on down?" I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah.
And then for the past week, I just kind of waited around. I'm like, "Okay, tournament's here. I forgot to practice. Oh no."
Yeah. Well, I think you have some time to practice before the next run, and if you are improving, I think both of you have a really good shot if you're doing your practice.
I'm not entirely sure how the losers bracket works because, truth be told, I had to ask what in the world I was supposed to do. All I knew I had to go live, but I'm assuming the winner of the losers bracket gets to go again, right?
Yes, everyone has to lose twice, basically.
Yeah.
So like if the winner of the winner bracket and the winner of the loser bracket fight. But the winner of the loser one has to win twice.
Okay, well, I don't see any problem with that. So there's a very good possibility we'll be rematching.
It's definitely an uphill battle, but I think you can do it.
I think so too.
I'm excited either way.
Yeah.
Me too. I mean, God. Who knew Bleed 2 of all games was gonna get me into all this? All this speedrunning and stuff, learning all these strategies.
Honestly, I think it's a great game to do it. I think it's I don't know. I could gush about the game all day.
Yeah, I can tell you all, Bleed 2 was like my first speedrun game as well.
Mm-hmm.
It is a very, very good entry game for speedrunning, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It has a lot of speed tech, and the speed tech feels really natural in the game as well.
It feels like the game was meant to be speedrunned. Like,
oh yeah, I think it definitely was. It was definitely made with speedrunning in mind, I think. when
Yeah.
they
I mean-
designed the game.
Honestly, though, like even with that, I don't think there are any glitches you could even like exploit in the game. It's very linear. I mean, I don't think there are there? I probably didn't do enough research in my own time to do it. All I know is that Jackuts mentioned it being glitchless, and I didn't know if he was saying that like as it, if you find a glitch, don't use it, or don't do any glitches we already know of.
There are no things I would call glitches in the traditional sense, but there is speed tech that is bordering on being glitches.
I would argue like dying
They
at
are
the end of
allowed.
the third round of Valentine, right before the cutscene skips that cutscene. I feel like that's not really a glitch, more like an exploit. Right?
Yeah, it's an exploit.
Third round where she puts up her shield.
Third round is just her shooting bullets and running, just flying around. Fourth round is shield.
Yeah.
So
At the end
if
of
you
the
die
third- yeah.
right as she comes up from being, falling down, it skips the cutscene of her going like ha 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 ha,
And then getting
like,
smacked
throw a thing
again.
at her. Yeah.
I didn't know that one. I definitely will have to try that one because
Yeah.
I honestly though I probably want to watch the cutscene play out more than anything because I love laughing at her whenever she tries it.
That's fair.
Something I really like talked about on that one Bleed stream I did though was the small detail of in the background when on the billboard you can see that each time like less and less cans and other items are being thrown, it says it's less effective. And eventually just
Yeah.
getting to
Yes, I
Rin
love
using
that.
it.
Mhm.
I thought that was like a really cool detail that
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
if a
that
lot of
fight is
people point
perfect,
out.
honestly.
Yeah. And the punch out style scoreboard as well.
Yes,
Yes.
God,
Mhm.
it's so good.
It's
A
a
lot of
really
the
well
games-
designed fight.
I could
Yeah.
vouch for this game for ages because I mean God, if I showed my Steam, if I like read out my Steam play hours here, you'd know I've played a lot of video games. Trust me, it's sad, but I have my hobbies. But Bleed 2 is definitely up there with one of the better shooter platformers I've played. I haven't played it
Same.
a lot, but you know, this one is probably up there. It's unique. That's probably the best word I have for it.
Yeah,
For
it
sure.
is.
Yeah.
Although I do have to say, I'm gonna call them out here. I do have to say for the one person who messaged me the day I joined the Bleed Running server, I'd like to say Bleed 1 sucks. I'm sorry, it just does. And I'm personally calling you out right now because you messaged me on day one, and I told you it sucked right then and there, and you didn't message me back, but I felt the need to call it out live. Bleed 1 is not good.
I
I
heavily
just
disagree.
gotta say it.
I don't know. I quite
just-
like it.
I enjoy it a
but
lot. I mean, this
in
game's
the time
obviously superior. He obviously did a lot of improvements to every aspect
Yeah,
of the
Bleed 2
game.
is definitely better. But if you
Yeah.
but if you haven't played Bleed 2 before you play Bleed 1 is definitely a good game.
Mhm.
The thing
problem is that
about
Bleed 2
Bleed
is
1,
like much smoother.
I think if I could honestly explain my biggest problems with Bleed 1, there's two big things. The over need to use time slow and the weapons. The over need to use time slow is, it's kind of not a real problem if you like need time slow to get through certain areas. But then when it gets to the point where you can barely get through one spew of rocks that keeps you stuck because your time slow isn't letting you get through it, and the gap is visible but it's very hard to get through. That's just one example I have. The time slow's a bit much. Still, a lot about Bleed 1 is decent, but the time slow need is a bit much. And then the weapons, I unlocked most of the weapons like after I played the game, and I like bought them as I went along, with all the upgrades and everything. They're not worth it. I'm just gonna say it. A lot of the weapons that I unlocked, the only one I didn't unlock was the laser rifle. I don't know if that was good or not, but I can't speak on it. Every other weapon just sucked. The rocket launcher didn't deal enough damage to make it actually feel viable, and the katana, well, I don't think I unlocked the katana either, but I'm sure it functioned similar to the Bleed 2 one. I mean, it felt like a feature blow where they just added these weapons that deal the same amount of damage as one shot from your dual pistols, and it really only felt like weapon speed mattered rather than actual damage, which I guess they sort of refined in Bleed 2 with, you know, the fact that you don't unlock any new weapons until you finish the game. And honestly, when I was playing Bleed 2, I was like, they made the right design choice in keeping it just to the dual pistols and adding a deflect option. Honestly, I feel like... Oh, sorry. You can go ahead.
Yeah, more about the race. How do you feel about the rest of the tournaments?
Nothing's happened yet. This was the first race of the tournament, so I don't know. I'm excited for it. I don't know what.
But I mean, I feel like future contestants should probably be feeling nervous, just like how I did, and ended up still clutching in the first round. I feel like I kind of want to send a message here that you shouldn't be nervous. Per se, you know, I mean, here I am having clutched in the first round down to the final boss fight in a match that looked like I was going to lose, not because I messed up too much, died when a boss was on 1 health too much. Granted, I did do that, but we're not going to talk about that.
I also did that. I
feel like you shouldn't be nervous, you know, but I also don't want to say, don't feel too comfortable, especially around me, because now after being in one race, I'm used to it. You no longer have the advantage of me being a beginner, because now I'm on my way to become someone who's actually experienced in this, and that won't be good when you have someone who has over 3,000 hours probably collectively on playing a lot of video games, and when I get used to a game, it's not fun for you. That's all I'll say. Anyway, I kind of am not allowed to be on a voice chat after a certain time in my home, so if you wouldn't mind, I must be off. No worries.
We were gonna call you off anyway because we are gonna round up the interview now. We are a little over time here because race and such. So I'll see you both around for the future rounds then. And for everyone who's watching there at home, it was lovely to have you all here today, and we are going to have another race tomorrow. We're not sure on which channel yet, but it is going to be between... Let's see if I don't say it wrong again. It is going to be between Sade and Dead on Arrival. So please look forward to that, everyone, and we'll see you around tomorrow. Have a great night, everyone, and sleep tight, and have a lovely, lovely day, and see you around. Goodbye, and have a great day. It was us.